Hello friends, today I am discussing about the most important chapter of science, class 8, from which minimum 2 say 3 questions are asked in every exam. So it is most important. So let's start without wasting of time. Chapter number is 7. Chapter name is Reaching the Age of Adolescence. Got it? So let's start. In the previous chapter, you have learned how animals reproduce. It is it is only after growing up to a certain age that human beings and many others animals can reproduce. Why can human reproduce only after a certain age? What? In this chapter, you will learn about changes that take place in the human body, after which a person becomes capable of reproduction. In chapter 6, you have learnt about human reproductive organs. Here, we shall discuss the role that hormones play in bringing about change that make a child grow into an adult. Got it? Next, adolescence and poverty. Bujo was celebrating his 12th birthday. After his friends left, Bujo and Pehli began chatting with their parents. Pehli studies in an all-girls school. She started laughing. She remarked that many of Bujo's school friends, whom she met after a year, had suddenly shot up in height. Some of them were looking very funny with a hairy line above their lips. Her mother explained that the boy had grown up. Next, growth begins from the day one is born. But upon crossing the age of 10 or 11, there is a sudden support and a spurt in growth, which becomes noticeable. The changes taking place in the body are part of growing up. They indicate that you are no longer a child but are on the way to becoming an adult. Got it? I wonder how long these periods marked by change in the body will last. What? Next, it is a strange period of life when you are neither a child nor an adult. I wonder whether this period between childhood and adulthood had a special name. Next, ग्रोइंग अप इज अ नेचुरल प्रोसेस. जो वृद्धि होती है किसी भी व्यक्ति में, मतलब किसी भी जंतु में और किसी भी पौधे में जो होती है, यह क्या है? नेचुरल प्रोसेस है, प्राकृतिक नियम है. द पीरियड ऑफ लाइफ व्हेन द बॉडी अंडरगोज चेंज लीडिंग टू द रिप्रोडक्टिव मैच्योरिटी इज कॉल्ड एडोलेसेंस. जब कोई भी शरीर में बदलाव होती है लीडिंग टू रिप्रोडक्टिव मैच्योरिटी और परिपक्वता आ जाती है प्रजनन की, तो हम उसे क्या कहेंगे? एडोलेसेंस कहेंगे. एडोलेसेंस begins around the age of 11 and lasts up to 18 or 19 years. जो एडोलेसेंस होता है, यौना अवस्था, ये शुरुआत कब हो जाता है? 11 की एज में, और ये लास्ट कब होता है? 18 से 19 ईयर के एज में। सिंस दिस पीरियड कवर्स द टीन्स 13 to 18 or 19 years of age. Adolescents are also called teenagers. In girls, adolescence may begin a year or two earlier than in boys. जो गर्ल्स होती है, लड़कियां होती है, कंपेरेटिवली बॉय के 2 वर्ष पहले मैच्योरिटी और एडोलेसेंस यौवना अवस्था मैच्योरिटी पहले आती है गर्ल्स में कंपेरेटिवली बॉय। गॉट इट? नेक्स्ट, आल्सो द पीरियड ऑफ एडोलेसेंस वेरीज फ्रॉम पर्सन टू पर्सन। और यह जो यौवना अवस्था है एडोलेसेंस, ये वेरी करता है पर्सन टू पर्सन। गॉट इट? नेक्स्ट, द ह्यूमन बॉडी अंडरगोज several changes during adolescence. These changes mark the onset of puberty. The most important change which marks puberty is that boys and girls become capable of reproduction. Puberty ends when an adolescent reaches reproductive maturity. Got it? Peheli and Bujo realized that sudden increase in height and hairy line above the lips in boys were signs of adolescence. They wanted to know more about other changes at puberty. Got it? Changes at puberty: increase in height. The most conspicuous change during puberty is the sudden increase in height. At this time, the long bones, that is the bones of the arms and the legs, elongate and make a person tall. Got it? Now we will discuss about activity 7.1. The following charts gives the average rate of growth in height of boys and girls with age. The figures in columns 2 and 3 give the percentage of the height a person has reached at the age of given in column 1. For example, by the age 11, a boy has reached 81% of his probable full height, while a girl has reached 88% of her full height. These figures are only representative and there may be individual variation. Use the table for your friends and work out how tall they are likely to be. Find out who is likely to be. Got it? The tallest and who might be the shortest in your class. Here, age in years, percent of full height, boys and girls. Got it? Calculation for full height in centimeter equal to present height in centimeter by percent of full height at this age as given in the chart into 100. Got it? Activity 7.2. Use the data given in activity 7.1 to draw a graph. Take age on the x-axis and percent growth in height on the y-axis. Highlight the point representing your age on the graph. Find out the percentage of height you have already reached. Calculate the height you might eventually reach. Tally your graph with the one given here. Got it? Boy, रेड कलर का जो है ये गर्ल्स. Got it? Age in years, percentage full in height. Figure 7.1, graph showing percentage of height with age. Next, initially गर्ल्स ग्रो फास्टर देन बॉय. जो शुरुआत में होता है गर्ल्स जो है ज़्यादा ग्रो करती है कंपेरेटिवली बॉय के. बट बाय अबाउट 18 ईयर्स ऑफ एज बोथ रीच देयर मैक्सिमम हाइट. लेकिन 18 साल के एज में दोनों का जो बढ़ने का जो हाइट होता है मैक्सिमम हाइट को अचीव कर लेती है दोनों, चाहे बॉय हो या गर्ल हो. गॉट इट? द रेट ऑफ ग्रोथ इन हाइट वेरीज इन डिफरेंट इंडिविजुअल्स. सम मे ग्रो सडनली एट पोवर्टी एंड देन स्लो डाउन व्हाइल अदर्स मे ग्रो ग्रेजुअली. ये वेरी भी करता है सभी इंडिविजुअल पे. गॉट इट? नेक्स्ट, आई एम वरीड थ्रू आई हैव बिकम टॉलर. माई फेस लुक्स मच स्मॉलर कंपेयर टू माई बॉडी. गॉट इट? देयर इज नो नीड फॉर पहली टू वरी. All parts of the body do not grow at the same rate. Sometimes the arms and legs or hands and feet of adolescents look oversized and out of proportion with the body, but soon the other parts catch up and result in a proportionate body. Okay? Next, you must have noticed that height of an individual is more or less similar to that of some family member. This is because height depends on the genes inherited from parents. जो height जो होता है वो डिपेंड करता है जीन पे और ये पेरेंट्स से, माता पिता से इनहेरिट होता है. गॉट इट? बच्चे में मिलता है. इट इज हाउएवर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू ईट द राइट काइंड ऑफ फूड ड्यूरिंग दिस ग्रोइंग ईयर्स. और इस बात पे भी महत्वपूर्ण इम्पोर्टेंट होता है कि आप खाना में क्या ले रहे हो, क्या डाइट ले रहे हो. आपकी जो ग्रोइंग ईयर्स हैं उसमें आप फूड में क्या डाइट ले रहे हो, क्या खा रहे हो, इस चीज़ पे भी हाइट डिपेंड करता है. गॉट इट? दिस हेल्प्स द बोन्स, मसल्स एंड अदर पार्ट्स ऑफ द बॉडी गेट एडिक्वेट नॉरिशमेंट फॉर ग्रोथ. You will find nutritional needs of adolescents discussed later in the lesson. Next, change in body shape. Have you noticed that boys in your class have broader shoulders and wider chest than boys in junior classes? This is because they have entered the age of puberty when shoulders generally broaden as a result of growth. In girls, the region below the waist becomes wider. आप नोटिस करेंगे जब कोई भी बालक या बालिकाएं जब बड़े होते हैं तो जो बॉय के सोल्जर्स होते हैं वो चौड़ा हो जाते हैं, उनके चेस्ट जो होते हैं वाइडर हो जाते हैं, मतलब चौड़ा हो जाते हैं। गॉट इट। वहीं गर्ल्स की बात की जाए तो उसके वेस्ट जो होते हैं, कमर जो होते हैं, वह चौड़ा हो जाती है। गॉट इट। नेक्स्ट, इन बॉयज द मसल्स ऑफ द बॉडी ग्रो मोर प्रोमिनेंटली देन इन द गर्ल्स, thus change occurring in adolescents, boys and girls are different. Got it? Next, voice change. Did you notice that sometimes the voice of some of the boys in your class cracks? What? At puberty, the voice box or the larynx begins to grow. Boys develop larger voice boxes. The growing voice box in boys can be seen as a protruding part of the throat. Got it? Called Adam's apple. Figure 7.2. In girls, the larynx is hardly visible from the outside because of its smaller size. Generally, girls have a high pitched voice, whereas boys have a deep voice. In adolescents, boys, sometimes the muscles of the growing voice box go out of control and the voice becomes hoarse. This state may remain for a few days or weeks, after which the voice becomes normal. Here, figure 7.2, Adam's apple in a grown up boy. Got it? Adam's apple ये होता है. Many of my classmates have a hoarse voice. No, I know why. Next, increased activity of sweet and sebaceous gland. Increased activity of sweet and sebaceous gland. During puberty, the secretion of sweet glands and sebaceous glands, जिसको ऑयल ग्लैंड भी कहते हैं, increases. Many young people get acne, जो पिंपल वगैरह हो जाते हैं. A few glands such as sweet glands, oil glands and salivary glands release their secretion through ducts. Endocrine glands release hormones directly into the bloodstream, so they are also termed ductless gland. Got it? And pimples on the face at this time because of the increased activity of these glands in the skin. Development of sex organs. Look up figure 6.1 and 6.3 of the previous lesson, which shown sex organs of humans. At puberty, male sex organs like the testis and penis develop completely. The testis also begin to produce sperms. In girls, the ovaries enlarge and eggs begin to mature. Also, ovaries start releasing mature eggs. Next, reaching mental, intellectual and emotional maturity. Adolescence is also a period of change in a person's way of thinking. Next, adolescents are more independent than before and are also self-conscious. Intellectual development takes place and they tend to spend considerable time thinking. In fact, it is often the time in one's life when the brain has the greatest capacity for learning. Sometimes, however, an adolescent may feel insecure while trying to adjust to the change in the body and mind. But as adolescents, learners, you should know that there is no reason to feel insecure. These changes are a natural part of growing up. Got it? Next. Secondary sexual character. You have learned in chapter 6 that testes and ovaries are the reproductive organs. They produce the gametes, that is sperm and ova. In girls, breasts begins to develop at puberty, and boys begin to grow facial hair, that is mustache and beard. As these features help to distinguish the male from the female, they are called secondary sexual characters. Boys also develop hair on their chest. In both boys and girls, hair grows under the arms and in the region above the thigh or the pubic region. Both Bujo and Pehli wish to know what is initiates change at puberty. Next, the changes which occur at adolescence are controlled by hormones. Hormones are chemical substances. These are secretion from endocrine gland or endocrine system. The male hormone or testosterone begins to be released by the testes at the onset of puberty. This causes change in boys about which you have just learned. For example, the growth of facial hair. Once puberty is reached in girls, ovaries begin to produce the female hormone or estrogen, which makes the breasts develop. Milk secreting glands or mammary glands develop inside the breasts. The production of these hormones is under the control of another hormone secreted from an endocrine gland called pituitary gland. Got it? Next, role of hormones in initiating reproductive function. Endocrine glands release hormones into the bloodstream to reach a particular body part called target site. The target site responds to the hormone. There are many endocrine glands or ductless glands in the body. The testes and ovaries secretes sex hormones. You have just learned that these hormones are responsible for the female male secondary sexual characters. Further, the sex hormones are under the control of hormones from the pituitary gland. Figure 7.3. The pituitary secretes many hormones, one of which makes ova mature in the ovaries, and sperm form in the testes. First, hormones from pituitary stimulates testes and ovaries to release testosterone in male and estrogen in female. Next, released in the bloodstream and reach parts of the body target site. Next, stimulate change in the body at onset of puberty. Next, the onset of puberty is controlled by hormones. Got it? 7.5 Reproductive phase of life in humans. Adolescents become capable of reproduction when their testes and ovary begin to reproduce gametes. The capacity of maturation and production of gametes lasts for a much longer time in males than in females. Next, in females, the reproductive phase of life begins at puberty 10 to 12 years of age. जो फीमेल्स होती है, लड़कियां होती है, उसका जो रिप्रोडक्टिव फेज होता है पोवर्टी, वो कब शुरुआत हो जाता है? 10 से 12 साल के एज में, एंड जनरली लास्ट टिल द एज ऑफ अप्रोक्सीमेटली 45 to 50 ईयर्स. 45 से 50 तक की एज में इसका जो पोवर्टी एज होती है, रिप्रोडक्टिव करने की जो कैपेसिटी होती है, कैपेबिलिटी होती है, 10 से लेके 50 तक ऑन एवरेज होती है. गॉट इट? द ओवा बिगेन टू मैच्योर विद द ऑनसेट ऑफ पुबर्टी. जो ओवा होती है गर्ल्स में, औरत में, वो इस एज में 10 से 50 तक के बीच में ये मैच्योर होना शुरू हो जाती है. गॉट इट? वन ओवम मैच्योर्स एंड इज released by one of the ovaries once in about 28 to 30 days. Got it? During this period, the wall of the uterus becomes thick so as to receive the egg in case it is fertilized and begins to develop. This result in pregnancy. If fertilization does not occur, the released egg and the thickened lining of the uterus along with its blood vessels are shed off. This causes bleeding in women, which is called menstruation. Menstruation occurs once in about 28 to 30 days. जो menstruation की साइकिल होती है ये 28 से 30 दिन के बाद होती है. Got it? The first menstrual flow begins at puberty and is termed menarche. जो फर्स्ट टाइम जो होती है menstruation उसको हम क्या कहेंगे? menarche कहेंगे. At 45 to 50 years of age, the menstrual cycle stoppage of menstruation is termed menopause. जो 45 से 50 की एज में जो menstruation साइकिल होती है और उसके बाद जो स्टॉप हो जाती है तो लास्ट जो होती है उसको हम क्या कहेंगे? मेनोपोज कहेंगे. इनिशियली menstrual साइकिल में बी इरेगुलर. जो इनिशियल शुरुआती दौर में menstrual साइकिल होती है वह हो सकता है इरेगुलर हो. गॉट इट? उसका टाइम थोड़ा आगे पीछे हो सकता है. इट टेक्स सम टाइम्स टू बिकम रेगुलर. इसमें थोड़ा सा समय लग सकता है, रेगुलर नियमित होने में इसमें थोड़ा सा समय लग सकता है। गॉट इट? मेंस्ट्रुअल cycle is controlled by hormones. The cycle includes the maturation of the egg, its release, thickening of uterine wall, and its breakdown if pregnancy does not occur. In case of the egg is fertilized, it begins to divide and then gets embedded in the uterus for further development, as you have learned in chapter 6, figure 6.8. Next, how is sex of the baby determined? I heard my mother and my aunt talking about my cousin who is going to have a baby. They were discussing whether she would give birth to a boy or a girl. I wonder what makes the fertilized egg develop either into a boy or a girl. Boy or girl? No, we will discuss about boy or girl. What? Inside the fertilized egg or zygote is the instruction for determining the sex of the baby. This instruction is present in the thread-like structure called chromosomes. In the fertilized egg, chromosomes are present inside the nucleus of every cell. All human beings have 23 pairs of chromosomes in the nuclei of their cells. 2 chromosomes out of these are the sex chromosomes named X and Y. A female has 2 X chromosomes while a male has 1 X and Y 1 chromosomes. The gametes, egg and sperm, have only one set of chromosomes. The unfertilized egg always has 1 X chromosomes, but sperms are of 2 kinds. One kind has an X chromosome and the other kind has a Y chromosome. See figure 7.4. Here, when a sperm containing X chromosome fertilizes the egg, the zygote would have 2 X chromosome and develop into a female child. If the sperm contributes a Y chromosome to the egg ovum at the fertilization, the zygote would develop into a male child. Figure 7.4 सेक्स डिटर्मिनेशन इन ह्यूमंस. ये स्पर्म है. गॉट इट. यदि पेरेंट्स मतलब फादर के वाई क्रोमोसोम आएंगे और माता के एक्स क्रोमोसोम आएंगे, तो यदि एक्स एक्स मिलेंगे तो बेबी गर्ल होगा. यदि फादर के वाई क्रोमोसोम आएंगे और मदर के एक्स क्रोमोसोम आएंगे तो बेबी बॉय होगा. यदि फादर के एक्स आएंगे और मदर के भी एक्स आएंगे तो बेबी गर्ल होगा. गॉट इट. क्योंकि फादर में जो क्रोमोसोम होते हैं एक्स वाई होते हैं और गर्ल्स मतलब माता के पास जो क्रोमोसोम होते हैं एक्स एक्स होते हैं. गॉट इट. पिता में XY और माता में XX। गॉट इट? तो इसी को ध्यान रखना है। नेक्स्ट, नो यू नो दैट द सेक्स क्रोमोसोम्स ऑफ देयर फादर डिटरमाइन द सेक्स ऑफ एन अनबॉर्न बेबी। The belief that the mother is responsible for the sex of her baby is completely wrong, and to blame her for this is totally unjustified. आप गांव घर में सुने होंगे कि जनरली माताएं पे ब्लेम डाला जाता है कि ये इसके कारण ही बच्चे जो बर्थ लिए हैं, पैदा हुए हैं, वह बेबी गर्ल है। बट इसके लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल कौन है? फादर रिस्पॉन्सिबल है। यदि फादर के क्रोमोसोम में से वाई क्रोमोसोम आता है और माता के क्रोमोसोम से एक्स आता है तो बेबी जो होगा बॉय होगा। वहीं यदि फादर के क्रोमोसोम से एक्स आता है और माता के क्रोमोसोम से भी एक्स आता है तो बेबी जो होगा गर्ल होगा। गॉट इट? नेक्स्ट, हार्मोन्स अदर देन सेक्स हार्मोन्स। लुक एट फिगर 7.3 अगेन। द हार्मोन्स secreted by the pituitary stimulate testes and ovaries to produce their hormones. You have already learned that the pituitary gland is an endocrine gland. It is attached to the brain. Apart from the pituitary, the testes and the ovaries, there are other endocrine glands in the body such as thyroid, pancreas and adrenals. Got it? फिगर 7.5, ये क्या है? पिट्यूटरी ग्लैंड है। ये क्या है? थायराइड ग्लैंड है जो एच आकार का है। ये आप देख सकते हो, ये ऊपर में जो है इसको क्या कहेंगे? एड्रीनल ग्लैंड कहेंगे। ये जो है येलो कलर का, ये क्या है? पेनक्रियाज है। ये क्या है? पोजीशन ऑफ द ओवरी इन फीमेल। गॉट इट? ये क्या है? टेस्टिस जो मेल में होते हैं। गॉट इट? पोजीशन ऑफ एंडोक्राइन ग्लैंड इन द ह्यूमन बॉडी। गॉट इट? नेक्स्ट, बूझो एंड पहेली had once visited their aunt who was a doctor and remembered that a boy named Kaka had a very big and bulging throat. Their aunt had told them that Kaka was suffering from goiter, a disease of the thyroid gland. Kaka's thyroid gland was not producing the hormone thyroxine. Okay? Their aunt also told them that their uncle was suffering from diabetes because his pancreas was not producing the hormone insulin in sufficient quantities. Bujo and Peheli then asked their aunt about the adrenal gland, which are also shown in the chart hung on the wall of her clinic. The aunt told them that adrenal gland secrete hormones which maintain the correct salt balance in the blood. Adrenals also produce the hormone adrenaline. It helps the body to adjust to stress when one is very angry, embarrassed or worried. जो एड्रिनल ग्लैंड होते हैं उसका क्या काम होता है? ये बॉडी को एडजस्ट करता है, स्ट्रेस को, तनाव को, गुस्सा को, इम्प्रेस्ड और वरीड को। नेक्स्ट, थायराइड एंड एड्रिनल्स secretes their hormones when they receive orders from their pituitary through its hormones. Pituitary is also secretes growth hormones, which is necessary for the normal growth of a person. जो पिट्यूटरी होते हैं वो क्या करते हैं? पिट्यूटरी आल्सो सीक्रेट्स ग्रोथ हार्मोन. जो पिट्यूटरी ग्लैंड होते हैं ये ग्रोथ हार्मोन को सीक्रेट्स करते हैं, निकालते हैं. आर देयर हार्मोन्स इन अदर एनिमल्स आल्सो? व्हाट हैव दे एनी रोल टू प्ले इन रिप्रोडक्शन? व्हाट role of hormones in completing the life history of insects and frogs? You have already learned about the life cycle of the frog. The tadpole passes through certain stages to become a frog. Chapter 6. This change from the larva to adult is called metamorphosis. Metamorphosis in insect is controlled by insect hormones. In a frog, it is controlled by thyroxine, the hormone produced by thyroid. Thyroxine production requires the presence of iodine in water. If the water in which the tadpoles are growing does not contain sufficient iodine, the tadpoles cannot become adult. जो tadpoles होते हैं उसको ग्रोइंग के लिए वाटर में आयोडीन की मात्रा होना जरूरी है. गॉट इट? नेक्स्ट. इफ पीपल डू नॉट हैव इनफ आयोडीन इन देयर डाइट, will they get goiter caused by lack of thyroxine? यदि किसी भी व्यक्ति के डाइट भोजन में इनफ मात्रा में आयोडीन न होगा तो क्या होगा? ग्वाइटर होगा, थायरोक्सिन हार्मोन के कमी के वजह से. क्या? एक्टिविटी 7.3. कलेक्ट इन्फॉर्मेशन फ्रॉम मैगजीन्स और फ्रॉम डॉक्टर्स and prepare a note on the importance of consuming iodized salt. You can also look for this information on the internet. Reproductive health. The physical and mental well-being of an individual is regarded as an individual is health. To keep the body healthy, every human being at any age needs to have a balanced diet. The person must also observe personal hygiene and undertake adequate physical exercise. During adolescence, however, this becomes even more essential as the body is growing. Next, nutritional needs of the adolescents. Adolescence is a stage of rapid growth and development. Hence, the diet for an adolescent has to be carefully planned. You have already learned what is balanced diet is. Recall that a balanced diet means that the meals include proteins, carbohydrates, fats and vitamins in requisite proportion. बैलेंस डाइट का मतलब क्या होता है? जो भी हम भोजन ले रहे हैं, मिल्स ले रहे हैं, उसमें क्या क्या होना चाहिए? प्रोटीन होना चाहिए, कार्बोहाइड्रेट होना चाहिए, फैट होना चाहिए, विटामिन होना चाहिए. जितना कि रिक्वायरमेंट उसकी प्रोपोर्शन है उनके अकॉर्डिंग होना चाहिए. आवर इंडियन मील ऑफ रोटी, राइस, दाल, पल्सेस एंड वेजिटेबल्स इज अ बैलेंस्ड मील. मिल्क इज अ बैलेंस्ड फूड in itself. Fruits also provide nourishment for infants. Mother is milk provides all the nourishment that they need. Next, iron builds blood, and iron rich food such as leafy vegetables, jaggery, meat, citrus, Indian gooseberry, amla are good for adolescents. Next, check items for lunch and dinner in your meal. Is the meal balanced and nutritious? What? Does it include cereals which give energy and milk, meat, nuts, and pulses which provide proteins for growth? Also, does it include fats and sugar that give energy? What about fruits and vegetables which are protective foods? What? Chips and packed or tinned snacks, through very tasty, should never replace regular meals as they do not have adequate nutritional value. Activity 7.4. Activity 7.4. Make a group with your friends. Write down the items of food in your breakfast, lunch, and dinner you had on the previous day. Identify the items responsible for proper growth. Also, identified the junk food that you consumed the previous day. Got it? Activity 7.5. Here, get ideas from the pictures given in figure 7.6. 7.6. Got it? Get ideas from the pictures given in figure 7.6. Prepare charts or posters and paste them in the class so that you are aware of the diet for adolescents. You may use your creative ideas and present it like an advertisement. You may even organize a competition on this topic: meat, vegetables, milk and eggs, fruits, grains. Got it? Now we will discuss about personal hygiene. Everyone should have everyone should have a bath at least once every day. It is more necessary for teenagers because they increased activity of sweat glands sometimes makes the body smelly. All parts of the body should be washed and cleaned every day. If cleanliness is not maintained, there are chances of catching bacterial infection. Girls should take a special care of cleanliness during the time of menstrual flow. They should keep track of their menstrual cycle and be prepared for the onset of menstruation. Use sanitary napkins or clean homemade pads. Change pad after every 4 to 5 hours as per the requirement. Next, physical exercise. Walking and playing in fresh air keeps the body fit and healthy. All young boys and girls should take walks, exercise, and play outdoor games. Got it? Next, myths, taboos, do's, and don'ts. You have learned here from chapter 6 the scientific facts related to human reproduction. There are many wrong notions which you should now be able to discard as informed adolescents. For example, there are myths and taboos regarding bodily change that adolescents experience. Some of these are given below, and you can now argue from why these are myths and not facts. First, a girl becomes pregnant if she looks at boy during menstruation. Next, the mother is responsible for the sex of her child. Next, a girl should not be allowed to work in the kitchen during menstruation. You may come across many other myths and taboos. Discard them. Got it? Activity 7.6. Collect data on the number of children in your class who do not exercise regularly and who exercise regularly. Did you notice any difference in their fitness and health? Prepare a report on the benefit of regular exercise. Say no to drugs. Adolescence is a period of much activity in the body and mind, which is a normal part of growing up. So do not feel confused or insecure if anybody suggests that you will get relief if you take some drugs. Just say no unless prescribed by the doctor. Drugs are addictive. Drugs are addictive. If you take them once, you feel like taking them again and again. They harm the body in the long run. They ruin health and happiness. Next, you must have heard about AIDS, which is caused by a dangerous virus, HIV. This virus can pass on to a normal person from an infected person by shedding the syringe used for injecting drugs. It can also be transmitted to an infant from the infected mother through her milk. The virus can also be transmitted through sexual contact with a person infected with HIV. Next, adolescent pregnancy. You might be knowing that in our country, the legal age for marriage is 18 years for girls and 21 years for boys. This is because teenage mothers are not prepared mentally or physically for motherhood. Early marriage and motherhood cause health problems in the mother and the child. It also curtails employment opportunities for the young woman and may cause mental agony as she is not ready for responsibilities of motherhood. Got it? Now we will discuss about what you have learned. Humans become capable of reproduction after puberty sets in. Children between the ages of 11 to 19 years are called adolescents. Next, the onset of puberty brings about growth of the reproductive organs. Hair grow at various places on the body. Breast develop in girls and facial hair, mustache and beard appears in boy. Voice of boys becomes hoarse as voice box enlarges during adolescence. Next, children gain height during adolescence. Next, the onset of puberty and maturity of reproductive parts are controlled by hormones. Next, hormones are secretion of endocrine gland which pour them directly into the bloodstream. Next, pituitary gland secretes hormones which include growth hormones and hormones that make other glands such as the testes, ovaries, thyroid, and adrenals secrete hormones. Pancreas secretes insulin, thyroid produces thyroxine, and adrenals produces adrenaline. Got it? Next, testosterone is the male hormone and estrogen the female hormone. The uterine wall in females prepares itself to receive the developing fertilized egg. In case there is no fertilization, the thickened lining of the uterine walls break down and goes out of the body along with blood. This is called menstruation. Next, sex of the unborn child depends on whether the zygote has XX or XY chromosome. Next or last, it is important to eat balanced food and maintain personal hygiene during adolescence. Got it? So thank you friends. Hope you will learn something new. Here is keywords. You can go through it. So thank you so much for watching this video. Radhe Radhe.